Well, it's been a couple weeks, and I haven't really been doing much for updates on this, but we're at the point now where the engine is all but ready to go in the 9.3. Biggest problem being the 9.3 has poop on it. It still has an engine in it. So today I'm going to tackle this, get everything out of here, strip it out, and then hopefully today as well, get that in. Just got to get a couple things out of the 99. The axles and the jack shaft are a little bit different on the 99. So I've got to pull this engine, separate that stuff so they can put it on here, get the jack shaft, get the alternator on there. And then it'll be a complete engine ready to go in. So that's it. Otherwise, the engine is together. Clutch, transmission, all that stuff. It's all ready to go. So at this point, it's probably going to be pretty slim for updates. It's just me, and I've got to get this all done. As you can see, I'm not even doing any work. It's wicked hot. I'm sweating just standing outside. So today will be tough, but we're going to start ripping. I am going to start ripping this stuff out. I'm going to try to do this as complete as possible. See if I can't get it all out one piece, take as little of the suspension apart, but subframe is over there, ready to go. I've got the new Polyflex in here. Unfortunately, you can't put a bolt through until you're mounting it back up. Luckily, the subframes swap between the two cars, so I didn't have to switch the newer arms and bushings and mounts and all that stuff. So this just undid the ball joint bolt to get the steering knuckle off because it was already apart. Looking back at it, I probably didn't have to take off the tie rod ends, but here we are. So when I do this car, I will take the subframe and everything out, leave the struts and everything in there so that I can go out and then hopefully back in the today, same day. Because essentially once that comes out, axles go on, I can put this on a roller, roll it under, drop the car back down onto it, and be ready to go. So, just a quick update here. I've been working for the day, and the engine here is pretty much ready to come out. All the coolant's out. To my surprise, there was no Freon refrigerant in here, so that went quick. I didn't have to worry about trying to and capture that with the environmentally responsible way. So I was able to just cut the AC lines out. So everything's all done actually. The lower ball joint's done on both sides. So at this point, subframe has to come out, and then once the subframe's out, I can start lowering this out. So pretty excited actually. Should have this done. It's like 1:30. Hopefully I have this done. Before the end of the day. I'm going to take a lunch break right now. I got my Milwaukee charge real quick so they can get under there and get the subframe bolts without killing myself. And then this will be out, and I'm expecting the other engine should be in today. So for any of you guys that happen to be doing this, like taking an older engine and putting it into a 9.3 from an NG 900 into a 9.3, a couple things I noticed. I haven't addressed them yet, but a couple sensors are different, like the way the throttle position sensor connects. It's different on the where is it? I don't think it's that one. Maybe it is. Anyways, the throttle position sensor and then the coolant temp sensor, they just connect differently on the 9.3 versus the 900. So you got to make sure if you're swapping up that you bring the sensors over. So I haven't done that yet. I'll have to do it. I'll just do it once this is out and I can get to them easily. Oh, here's the other one. So just different. That's all. I mean, same sensor, same resistance, same everything, just different connectors. So TPS will swap and the coolant sensor will swap. But then that's pretty much it, and it's ready to come out and should be done within the next couple hours actually. So gonna go grab lunch and then I'll dive into this. So long day, hot day. I ended up it was so hot I ended up putting a tarp up to give me some shade. Obviously there's a fan there, so I'm a big boy. This heat gets to me. So that's it. So once that's out, we'll power wash the engine bay and stuff, clean up the driveway. And then there's a couple of electrical things I want to do. On the 900, I had done a quote-unquote wire tuck, so I'm going to have to extend a couple things here. The idle air control valve, the TPS, and the coolant temp sensor, they all have to be extended so they can go up underneath. Injectors actually should be extended too, so maybe I'll do that. I'll see if I can get some jumper wire and just extend them out. But that is that. So anyways, lunchtime, and then I'll get this done. So see you. It's been a busy day for me here. It is just me doing this, which kind of is, you know, fun and sucks at the same time. But good news is 2 liters out. Grabbed all the stuff I needed off of it, moved it on over there, so that's all done. Moved over the sensors. There's only a couple little things, like this guy came out, and that one did not, so I gotta swap those over. But otherwise, this thing's ready to go in. So it's been a busy day. It kind of looks messy. I had actually cleaned up the garage last night because it was since the 2.3 was all together, pretty much everything was done. So cleaned up last night, and then today's a mess. But here we are. So the 900 is going to be really hard to see. I don't have a light. I'm really sorry. Maybe I'll pick one up. But basically, I said 900. The 9.3 is all done. The engine bay is stripped. Air conditioning's out. Condenser's out. The stock intercooler's out. So it's not going to happen right away. I'll probably just put the bumper back on without any intercooler initially, just to get it running. But I actually got in trouble today. The head of the HOA came over and she was like, "Bad news, Craig, you can't do this." So she was nice enough. She was like, "Yeah, you know, finish," because it was already pretty much apart. But she was like, "All right, finish." Bug. Anyways, that was disgusting. Anyways, so power wash the engine bay. Actually, really, I'm starting to like this color, and I have a feeling that this car, when it's done, I'm gonna send it to get detailed. I don't have the patience for that shit, but the car's actually in pretty good shape. So in either case, this time when I took it apart, a little bit different than the other car, I left the whole thing together here. I took it all apart on that car for some reason. Didn't really need to. So this time I left everything in here. And then, so tomorrow it'll just be roll the 2.3 over, lower the car back down a little bit because it's way too high, and then I'll be able to lift the engine up to the car. So that's it, man. Busy day. Tomorrow is what's tomorrow? The 6th. So I took the day off anyways to have a long weekend. I thought I was going to head up to Massachusetts, but here we are. Once I found out that I wasn't going up there, decided to just hammer this out. So goal is tomorrow, get this engine inside, make it look like not a project car. Get it down on its wheels, put the stock wheels on, just get it so that it can roll around and does not look like a project car. So once that's done, it can sit there as long as it's not an eyesore. It can just sit there, and then I'm going to go through the 2 liter, break the transmission off of it, swap over the manual stuff, just a head gasket, water pump, really basic stuff. Head gasket, water pump, and I think the carrier bushing, or whatever the hell it's called, I have a problem in these 99s. I think this one's bad. When I was pulling the axle out, there was a lot of play. So I'll have to look into doing that. I've never had to do it before. Also found out today why it had no boost on the way home. So that's good news. I don't necessarily have to replace the turbo. So I'll probably end up keeping this guy. AC comes off, all that shit comes off, and then we'll get it in here. It is Monday morning. It's hot. Again, I don't know why I picked this weekend to do this. In either case, I've already started. I wheeled out the 2.3, so it's basically where it needs to be. It needs to be over a little bit, but we'll get there. So then this just has to be put out of the way for right now, and this can be the car can be lowered down onto it. So it is, like I said, it has to be moved over a little bit, but it's essentially where it needs to be. And then what I'll do is I'll use the engine crane to lift the car back up just to get it off the jack stands, and I'll lower it down so it's a little bit more level. That way when the engine mounts go up, they're not at a weird angle. So you do kind of need it to be relatively flat, but we should be good. Should be pretty easy. From this point, just bolt the two mounts up, get the subframe in. Should only be a couple hours before that's done, barring any rain or any bigger issues. So that's pretty much that. So quick day today. I don't think I'm really going to show any of this because I got to get this done. I don't really have time, unfortunately, to do time lapse and all that stuff and set it up. So next time you'll see this, more than likely it will be bolted in, and then that's pretty much going to be it with the 9.3 for now. So I think I mentioned in one of the other videos, the HOA lady came around and she was like, you can't be doing this. So she was like, you can do whatever you want in the garage, just not out in the driveway. So that means that I have to actually get this done so that it can drive out on its own power. Even if it's not finished, I at least have to get the 204 back in and running. So, even if there's no coolant in it or anything, I can at least, get it over there under the tree and let it sit for a little bit. So, I'm excited to get this done because once that's done, I can get it in here and then we can start going through things like the brakes, the suspension, putting on the exhaust, putting the front mount on, all that stuff. But I need to get it so it's presentable and I don't get in any more trouble. So that's that. Busy day today. Hoping that I'm not out here till 9 or 10 o'clock again tonight. If I am, it'll just be because I'm zipping up details and stuff on this. But nice thing is this car does have a little bit of rust, nothing that I'm really concerned about. Relatively clean. I power washed it last night, but did not do a great job because it was dark. But luckily all this stuff is behind the headlights. So that's it. There's the empty engine bay. I'll tackle this sooner than later, cleaning it up and doing the wire tuck and all that stuff. But that's it for today. Well, for now anyways. We might update later. Alright guys, just an update. I spent 4th of July weekend getting everything done. Here's where we stand. 234 transmission are in. Lincoln just connected so that I can move it around, so I can shift it out of gear, move it around. But engine is just in there. It's put together so that the HOA does not give me crap for it. It's dirty, it's gross from me touching it and climbing all over it, but it is together. 204 is here waiting on a gasket kit from ESAB Parts. That should be here today actually, and then I can put this on the stand and get that re-gasketed. Probably not going to show a lot of that stuff because it's not exciting. People don't really enjoy watching it, so we'll keep those updates short. Transmission has to come off, be converted back to a cable clutch, and then it can go back on, and then this can all go back in here. This should be pretty easy to put back together. I'm expecting that once it's gasketed, probably 2 or 3 days to get this running. Pretty easy. Pretty simple engine bay on this, so I'm hoping that it goes pretty quickly. That's where we are. Then once this is running, I can park it out in the parking lot when it's not a shell, essentially, and you can start working on the 9.3. Alright guys, it is the 20th. It is officially 2 weeks after I had my marathon weekend of getting the 9.3 together, which is mostly together, if we're being honest. The engine's all together, it just needs hoses and to be wired up. The only reason it's not wired up is because I want to extend the harness. So I'd rather do that in here, where I can suck the AC out of my house and at least have it a reasonable temperature in here. But in order to do that, I got to get rid of all this garbage. So here we are today on the 20th. I am going to try to get the transmission off of here. So the idea is get the transmission off, get the engine up, get it on the stand, and then take the head off, take the valve cover off anyways, take a look at how it is. I guess with the whole thing apart, I might as well take the oil pan off and reseal it, but we'll see. But anyways, head gasket, intake seals, pretty basic stuff. Put this back together. If I don't have to take the manifold and stuff off, I won't. although I have a feeling I'm going to end up doing that. So here we are, starting this project. I probably won't do much time-lapse stuff. Unfortunately, when you record, you can't have music playing in the background, or else YouTube like yells at you and demonetizes you and all that stuff, which I'm not monetized anyways, but the last thing I want is advertisements on my videos for somebody else. I'm sure you guys don't want that either. So here we are, getting ready to tackle this guy. I'll try to do time lapses and whatnot, but honestly, I hate working without music, so I'll probably focus on that. So anyways, next time you see it, this will be on the engine stand, and then I will do my best to show how we take the hydraulic transmission, convert that over to a cable transmission. So see you in a bit. So I decided I'm going to start stripping this down a little bit before I put it up there, but first thing I'm going to do here is take off the intake manifold. It's just a bunch of bolts across the back. For any of you guys that are taking one of these apart for the first time, there is a brace. It's over there. You can see it on the parts washer. There's a brace that goes from the manifold down to the block. It goes like, I don't know, here-ish. I forget which one of these it is. It's one of these. First time I took one of these things apart, I was like hammering on the manifold thinking that the gasket was stuck, but that brace is on there and it will not move no matter how hard you try. It's a pretty sturdy brace. So if you're taking one of these apart, worth mentioning. So anyways, intake manifold is off, the tensioner, the serpentine belt tensioner is off. That's just pushed to the side. Just starting to take some things apart here. Thermostat housing. If this is the first time you're tackling one of these things, you're going to be really, really careful with these because the bolts will shear off in there. And then I'm actually going to start tackling these. Anybody that's done one of these before, or manifold studs for that matter, knows you have to be really, really careful with these. Otherwise you'll end up breaking studs. If they shear in the head, it's a giant pain in the ass. I'm going to go with this sort of haphazardly. Mainly because I have another head up there, up on the shelf, so if something happens to this guy, I'll just throw that one on, and then rebuild this one down the road. But in either case, you're going to go with these pretty slow. These longer ones, they tend to come apart pretty easy because the bolt is so far from the manifold, they don't rust so bad. But if you look at this one here, pretty cruddy. That one's probably going to need some PB. I'm going to spray that. Same with the inside guys here. These are always really, really bad to get out. So I'm going to attack these kind of slowly, but also without too much delicacy, delicateness, not delicacy. They are not delicious. Whatever. I'm not gonna go too easy on them because I don't care if they break. But if you're going on these things, you're probably gonna end up wanting to. So there's my cat Steve. You are going to want to like back these off slowly. So, and then for everybody that takes one of these apart, I always recommend get stainless studs. I'll probably order some off of eBay. Make sure you get real stainless ones. Makes a big difference if you ever have to put the manifold on and off. Not having to worry about the heat cycling and these things galling up and being all gross is absolutely worth it. So either case, I'm going to attack this now. I want to get as much of this off really as I can before it goes up on the engine stand so that when I take the head off, I don't have to fight a turbo and stuff. So that's where we are, stripping this thing down and listening to Atmosphere. All right, so progress. I have the block stripped, all the accessories off. This is probably the worst of these blocks I've ever seen. I don't know why, if it's because it sat for a while. I guess this car sat for a few years. I think he said maybe 5 years. But this is obviously like they paint blocks from the factory, but this black paint is chipped up, which you'd expect, right? But there were parts of this where the paint came up and it was just like, I don't know, pretty thick. I don't even know how to gauge it, but it was thick. Like I'd use a screwdriver to chip it away. Like picture like your worst brake rotor or something like that. But anyways, so I chipped away at it, used a wire brush, got it down. So I gotta find something that I can paint this with. Well, I gotta clean it some more, get a couple more cans of brake cleaner and stuff, but clean it down some more, and then paint it so that it doesn't happen again. The back of the block seems pretty okay in terms of like rust and stuff. That'll just blast away. I'm okay with that. But the front of this engine, more than I've ever seen before, just tons and tons of rust. So I have to clean this up. But I'm about to pull the valve cover off here. Actually, I just banged it loose. So I haven't seen what's under here yet. I don't know if it's going to be gross and sludgy or if it's going to be in good shape. I'll tell you, these are the spark plugs that came out of it. They're, what are they, iridium? I don't even know what these are. I've never bought these plugs before. PFR6H. I don't know what that is. Garbage is what it is. Platinums? I don't know. So, it's like stuff that belongs in a Corolla. Here we go. Oh. Hey, that's pretty nice in there. I am pleasantly surprised. No, like usually you get a bunch of carbon deposits on the side here, and I mean there's some, but not much. The oil all looks pretty good. I mean it's like a nice bronze color under there. This is the original head. It's stamped somewhere. Yeah, so it's the original head, 99. I don't know if it's been rebuilt, if it's been sent out and rebuilt. When I flip it over, I'll be able to take a look and see if the half moon has been shaved down, if it's been cut down before. But this looks original. Looks pretty good, actually. It's a bummer. This is in really good shape because it got 2 broken studs. This stud here, if I can point to it, I don't know if you can see it, but that stud and that stud are both broken. So I'll try my luck with extracting them, but I don't know. I'm not really good at that stuff. I'm pretty ham-fisted if we're being honest. I'll probably make it worse. I'll probably shatter it inside there, and then it'll have to go to a machine shop. So in either case, this is pretty good news. This makes me feel good about the oil pan. So I'll probably take the oil pan off once I get this apart, and it's just the bare block. Flip it over and pop the oil pan off, see how the screen is, but this is pretty comforting, actually. Kind of glad that in all the service records, he didn't mention, I didn't see a receipt for, I didn't see any receipts for a head gasket or anything, so I think this is just pretty well cared for. Still has the original timing chain, I think. I'll have to take a look at the guides and see if they need replaced. This engine just barely had 100,000 miles on it, so we'll take a look when the head comes off. I'll be able to look at the guides, but pleasant surprise, actually. I had not high hopes for this. So I got the head bolts out, right? I take it apart, sort of admiring it, how clean it was. Get all the way across there, get to the end. All the bolts are looking awesome, right? They look brand new as they're coming out there. And then I get to the last two, and they're covered with oil. So that leads me to believe that these are the original bolts, because 99 had the issue with the mistorqued bolts. So I'm thinking this is probably the original gasket that's in there. And I bet when I take it out, that corner of the gasket will be soaked with oil as well, which was a really common problem on these cars, specifically 99. If you got it early enough before the gasket soaked with oil, you could retorque them and they would be good for years, forever, potentially. But once they get soaked with oil, the gasket never really held very well. So I'm going to get this apart in just a minute. There's just a couple things I have to do real quick, including making space for it over on the bench. But that's where we are there. Should have the head off in a few minutes. And then just going to take these gears off. I already took the bolts out, so literally just have to pop the gears off, and then we'll be good. My hand is gross. So I got to put down the camera, do that real quick. I also got to clear some space over there on the bench because I don't have any space to put this thing down. So should be off in a couple minutes. Take a look at the gasket, the deck, the pistons, and all that. I have an idea of how clean or not clean this engine is. I was noticing it on the intake ports. It's pretty oily. Not a lot of carbon deposits, but pretty oily nonetheless. Nothing I'm like worried about, but you know, again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to reuse this head because I got these bolts, and I don't know that I'm going to have time to get them out to a shop or have somebody weld nuts onto them. So again, I got that head up there. We'll probably use it. Just gotta get, I gotta drill and then pull a brass fitting out that I broke in it. But that's much easier to come out than some steel studs. But that's that. So next check-in head will be on the counter over there. We'll be able to take a look at that and see what sort of shape that is in. And then this will almost be completely down. I'm probably going to take this off. I know that I shouldn't because I'm going to be opening a can of worms, but I'm probably going to take this off, take a look at the front cover. I may even take it off just to make sure that this isn't leaking through the backside. But that's that for now, and I'll keep everyone updated. All right, guys, so heads off. Here we go, right? So, as I thought, I'm pretty sure this is the aftermarket gasket. It's got the L-ring on it instead of the Saab, so I'm pretty sure that this gasket's been replaced. This engine may have at some time been rebuilt. Now, I'm not that familiar. I've never taken one of these engines apart. I was under the impression that T5 pistons were flat tops. They didn't have the indent for the valves here, but these all do. So I'll have to look into that, take a look at the part numbers and see what's going on there. But this is another head gasket. I don't think this is the original one. It's got the L-ring thing on it. So at some point, this head gasket has been replaced. But just like the original one, like I said, it is soaked with oil through the corner here. So I don't know if whoever put this together just didn't torque it down right or what, but here we are. So the good thing is, I guess this will be a pretty easy regasket in that regard. I gotta blast this off and see how bad the front cover is. I'm like worried about putting it back together with the gouge in it, but seems okay. It doesn't seem like there's any like really wet oil here, like it's been coming from here. So I'll blast it off, make sure it's okay. Maybe I will fill it with the with JB Weld to make sure that it's filled anyways. So that's that. I'm probably gonna put the brakes on here anyways because I don't have any more brake cleaner to blast this to get it ready. But that's it, man. So your transmission off. We're not man, guys, team, group, whatever, y'alls, yuns, wherever you're from, I don't know. So here we are. We got a B204R down to the block anyways. Well, I guess a short block. But that's that. I'm going to pause here. Oh, shit. I'm going to pause here for tonight. Maybe scrape the gasket off. But, yeah, see how it's pretty soaked with oil down there. But that's it. We're going to clean it up. Yeah, I don't know if this... Oh, you know what I forgot to look at is whether the head was decked. So let's take a look at that. So I wonder if the head came off to be rebuilt. And if that's the case, I wonder who rebuilt it. Yeah, the half moon looks pretty fried. It doesn't look like it's been cut. The head doesn't look cut at all, actually. But in either case, it does look good. Looks clean. Maybe this head has been off. I don't know. There's like a marking over here. I can't tell what it is, but there's like some blue marking, so I don't know. I have no idea what the deal is with this head. Maybe it's a brand new head. Maybe it wasn't rebuilt. Maybe it's a replacement. But whatever. Scrape it down, see what I can find. Get a couple cans of brake cleaner, blast it off, and then put it back together. But that's that. So definitely a replacement gasket in here, but we'll redo it. I would have felt bad selling it with that much oil on it without replacing the gasket. So shouldn't be too hard from here. Just a matter of cleaning it off and then putting it back together. That's all for tonight. Thanks, guys. Take care.